Living in sunny California, it's beautiful weather all the time. It's a beautiful state, so it's wonderful just to walk out my front door and shoot my neighborhood. I'm Sarah Lee. I am from Texas, which is actually where I met Jamie way back in the day. I'm currently residing in Los Angeles, California. I've been shooting film for probably just a few years right now. It's been kind of an off and on thing. Over the last couple of years, I've moved completely over to film and have been really focusing on honing my skills there. Typically what I like to shoot is people. COVID has definitely had an impact on my subject matter. It's been a lot harder to find people to shoot with and do it safely. I've just been kind of playing it safe this year and last year. So really just kind of shooting things around my neighborhood, things around the city, pop over to any other side of town that's interesting and shoot there. But I do like to just shoot where I see where I'm at. That could be my friends, that could be nature. I've started to really enjoy shooting nature. Typically, I shoot with my Nikon FM that I got on Etsy. I think at the beginning of last year. I had been shooting with a really old Minolta. I don't even remember what it's called, but it was like my family's camera back in the 90s. And my mom gave it to me when I left for college. So that was the first film camera I ever shot with. It's pretty flexible, but it does have a lot of automated settings, which was nice for being able to learn and just get familiar with the format. But I did decide that I wanted to go a more analog route and have more control over what I was shooting, as well as just kind of up the challenge a little bit. I really liked the idea of having something that was fully manual. Everything was up to me. It's not very forgiving, so I've definitely messed up a lot of rolls, and I'm still learning for sure, but it's really fun. It's really fun to shoot with. And it's a pretty simple camera. So it's got the basics and that's about it, which is really kind of what I wanted. In addition to that, I have this Kodak VR35, which I don't really know what to say about this camera because I got it at a thrift store, but it's super, super fun to shoot with. It looks cool, so it's got that going for it, but mostly I just enjoy it because it's quick and easy, and I've had really good experiences with that. I do have a Polaroid as well, which is the Polaroid Spectra. I also got this at a thrift store several years ago, and unfortunately, Impossible Project has completely discontinued the Spectra film, so this baby's kind of out of use for the foreseeable future. I was no longer a student, and I also was no longer working a bunch of jobs. So I had more free time. I had more time to focus on my hobbies. And I did really want to get intentionally back into photography. But something about film just really, I really wanted to learn how it works, and I really wanted to master it. And it was a medium that I hadn't been super familiar with, and it just seemed really fun. I liked the risky aspect of it. It can be frustrating, of course, especially the money that goes into shooting film, but I really enjoyed the idea of having to really think through every single shot and really think through not only just making it a good shot, composition, exposure, and all that, but also being creative through that. So it was a huge learning curve, but I've really enjoyed the journey so far. California definitely did kind of catalyst that change because I was able to go out and shoot more often. I was meeting more people, so that was really awesome. I got more involved with artists here in California, so I had a little bit more of a community around it, which has definitely helped keep me motivated. I did art growing up, just several different mediums. I really enjoyed painting, working with clay, really anything and everything I could get my hands on as a kid. I really just enjoyed art as a whole, creating things. And I didn't do anything with it in school. I actually just went a totally different route and kind of went more like administrative type work. But it's been something that I've carried with me throughout my entire life. And to be completely honest, I've never really wanted to make it a financial thing or draw any income from it, because I just didn't want the pressure and I didn't want it to be ruined. I can do with what I want whenever I want. So I think I do draw a lot of inspiration from nature. I know I've talked a lot about shooting people, even though I'm not really shooting people currently. But I do find myself getting inspired by forms and lighting, things that happen in the natural world without any kind of manipulation. So when I do shoot people, or when I have shot them in the past, I've tried to draw on that as much as I can in the moment. I also have a really hard time shooting with models. I love shooting people, but I'm terrible at working with models. I have a lot of learning there to do as well. So I've sort of just started branching out with film, and a lot of that is because of this analog camera that I got. My Minolta could pretty much handle anything. I didn't have to worry so much about what speed I was shooting at, but with this one I definitely do. Mostly I use Portra, Kodak Gold. I've shot a little bit with Ultramax too. I want to start getting into black and white. I have zero experience, digital or film, with black and white photography, but I've noticed myself really gravitating towards it. I find myself like, why am I liking all of these black and white photos when I've only shot color? So I've realized that it's something that I really want to learn how to do. Definitely experienced sexism in photography. For me, not so viscerally, just because I haven't been in the space very long and I haven't really put my work out there very much, but I definitely see it happen. There is kind of this look, I think, that's started to become almost like the gold standard, which is very strange to me. In terms of fashion photography, I think is what I'm mostly speaking about, where it becomes so much less about the actual photography and so much more about just displaying a beautiful woman, which I have no problem with that. But there also is a huge element missing there, I think, in terms of men shooting women. I've been really lucky in that all of the male photographers that I've met and worked with have been super kind, and just, it's about the art and it's not about making a name for themselves. It's not about any kind of competition. So I personally have been very lucky in that regard, but I definitely see it happen with others, and it's really unfortunate. What I would say really, I guess, about the subject overall is just don't be afraid to make ugly things. Don't be afraid to mess up. That's part of the process. And as long as you're doing it, as long as you're making your art, you'll get there and you'll get something that you like. Might take a long time, but just don't stop. And also know that I think personally, I do have a lot of thoughts about Instagram and its particular aesthetic that has kind of become a trend, and kind of become this weird standard that people work towards. I would say, F that, make your own aesthetic, do whatever aesthetic pleases you. It doesn't matter if it's popular at the moment. It doesn't matter if anybody else likes it. If that's what you want your art to look like, it should look like that. You know, at the end of the day, your art is about you and your expression and what you want to give back to the world. So don't let some social media outlet or whatnot, any kind of like trend, define that.